Morning Show with Anthony here on 92.9 and 96.9 EHM. Very happy to have on the phone with us. This is weird. This is a special guest, but special guests, really, when you get down to it. We've got comedian Frank Caliendo on the line. Frank, good morning, man.
Hey, Anthony, how are you? That's how I start out as awkward as possible. Right?
Why not? Yeah, I love it.
I just go for the unexpected, and I think I won the radio on that one.
I think that's your best impression ever, a generic girl voice.
Right. It's almost Gingerbread Man from Shrek. That's one of the things that happens to me is when I do, like, if I try to do a character, this would happen to me in Mad TV, I'd do like an old school, like an old teacher kind of character. And so I'd be like, well, no, that's Richard Dreyfuss. And I'd be like, I am not Richard Dreyfuss. So I was always like, that's the thing is when you're known for impressions, people start to hear, like people will hear impressions in my own voice. I'll just be talking and they'll be like, oh, you sound like John Gruden right now. I'll be like, I'm not even trying to, man. That stuff just happened. Or it's like the one I used to get all the time is you sound like Jack Nicholson right now. I'd be like, listen, if I wanted to be Jack Nicholson, I'd have been doing comedy in 1985.
You know what's crazy to me, Frank, and I've been a fan of yours for a very long time, right? I feel like I started seeing you when you were really first breaking out. The way you transition from one to the next, it's unreal. It's crazy how easy it is for you.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't start out that way. It takes a while sometimes. Like it's like I think of it as like muscle memory. It's like when I first started doing Morgan Freeman, it would take me a second or two to get it to happen in my brain and stuff like that. And then after I've trained it, all of a sudden I can just start to talk like him any time I wanted to. Well, that's just the way it was, So and I just have him narrate. It would be great to just have him narrate everything in your life. Just like, yes, it was time to go to the grocery store. Frank had gone there hungry before. He would go there hungry again, but this time he walked home with 45 cases of cheesy poofs.
Oh, my God, that's hilarious. I saw something the other day that I thought was really, really funny. I don't like Facebook humor, but I saw something that was so funny. It was, I want to see a documentary on Morgan Freeman narrated by wild animals.
That's very funny. What in the world does that sound come from? Where is that? That sounds like a zebra. Well, there's a zebra narrating me eating breakfast. That's about as awkward as it ever could have been.
Morgan Freeman, Jack Nicholson, and John Gruden, Frank Caliendo on the Morning Show with Anthony, just announced this show on November 14th at the Paramount in Huntington. Tickets are on sale. You can go to frankcaliendo.com or you can go to paramountny.com.
Yeah, the show is just around the corner if you have a time machine. I always love that when they put the shows on sale, like before you could even possibly know what's happening. I mean, I guess this is an anti-publicity for myself, but usually what happens is the super fans will get the tickets right away, and then people trickle in throughout time. But it's always so funny when you're talking about people go, November, what are you thinking? I don't know. I just do what I'm told.
You just go where you're told, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
God, I hate to ask you about the impressions all the time because I'm sure you get that all the time.
I don't care. I'm trying to sell tickets, man.
But what?
See, that's honesty. How many comedians give you that much honesty?
None give you that much honesty. That's a great answer. But how many? I want to know the impression that came to you the easiest and the impression that you struggled to work and you're still working on, maybe.
Oh, well, there's plenty that I can't do. I can't even do a good Joe Pesci. I don't know, the ones that come the easiest, you'd think they'd be the ones that are closest to your voice. It's usually cadence that makes it easy, because you can sell it without having the pitch yet. It's like, how many Christopher Walkens have you heard? And they can all sound different in the pitch, but they all do the same thing. They sound similar. And somebody could be like, wow, that was great. Another guy, wow, that was great. And wow, that was great. And they're three different pitches, but the cadence is the same. With President Obama, he talks slow at the beginning and speeds up at the end. You know, it's that where you don't have to have the pitch 100%, but it gets there. So, I mean, you could cheat with that a little bit, so those sometimes can be a little bit easier. I'm trying to think. For me, maybe a Jeff Goldblum, very odd, very weird. Why is my favorite letter. Yes, it is. As far as hardest go, I don't know. President Obama was pretty difficult. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it isn't. Let's see. You know, it varies. I mean, there's plenty. There's so many that I can't do. Jack Black I've been working on forever, and it's almost like it's that when he goes into like the song kind of thing, that's easier to do it. I'd like to sing a little song for you. You know, that kind of that works, but I can't talk like him as normal. Legend of the Kung Fu Panda.
Oh my God, that is crazy good. It is a trip to talk to you. I can't believe I'm getting a chance to talk to Frank Caliendo right now.
I got to be honest with you, Anthony. You are lucky.
I feel it. I feel the luck. I'm blessed on this end.
Right.
Paramount Theater tickets going on sale. I guess that's what we're pushing right now. The tickets are on sale now, November 14th. But don't wait because you don't want to be locked out of the show to see Frank Caliendo at the Paramount in Huntington. Is it easier or harder when you? Because some of them, like all right, the Gruden. I was just before we got on together. I was watching the Gruden on your website. Oh my God, it's killer good. And your facial expression really slams it all home. That brings it all home.
Yeah, it's that look like he has lasers that could come out of his eyes. It's like, I'll tell you what, man, I could take out this entire eastern seaboard right now, man. I got those laser beam eyes. Like, didn't Rodan had those? Remember Rodan when he used to fight Godzilla? Man, I'll tell you what, there was some guy with laser beam eyes. I'll tell you, that guy could take on any giant massacring monster ever.
Is it easy? I mean, there's not a lot with Gruden. He's got the hat and everything but some of the characters, like especially some of the stuff you used to do on Fox, you got a lot of makeup, a lot of work. Is it easier to do it when you're in the whole getup?
Yeah, because you could sell it. I mean, I've actually lost about 60 pounds now too. So I was always look like Cartman from South Park trying to do an impression. So now I look a lot more like the people because you can always pad out instead of thin down.
Right.
So. The more you can, because there are certain people that they judge an impression just on the way you look. You could do a terrible impression and look like the person they like, oh, they nailed it. No, the makeup people nailed it. So yeah, the look can sell it a lot. Even the setting can sell it a lot too. On stage, you know, in a stand-up show, I have to sell it with just the facial expressions and the voice and you know, physicality. But I guess, yeah, I mean, definitely. In the you know, sketch world, that stuff helps. I mean, I've been at ESPN for a couple years now, and that's been a lot of new ones that I've been doing. And when I've been doing that stuff, it's usually making fun of ESPN people. It's a little more sports specific. But guys like Mel Kiper Jr. with the crazy Count Chocula hair, and tell you what, that's incredible serial reference. Nice job. Only 3 people in the audience getting this, but if you watch the NFL draft, it's going to make a lot of sense. You know, Stephen A. Smith, just that voice. I'm incredulous to the entire situation. John Gruden with the look, and once again, the laser beam eyes taking over, man. You know, it's been fun being at ESPN, too, because working on different stuff. Although, like I kind of talked about with the working on the Jack Black and stuff like that, trying to get some more mainstream impressions, guys that people from the you know, Hollywood that are, you know, like Robert Downey Jr. I've been working on, and he talks like a human Twitter feed. Ever since Iron Man, he talks in little phrases, and it's always about him. He could be giving out an Academy Award, one of the biggest awards in the world, to be like, these people deserve your applause almost as much as I do. # awesome. So it's just stuff like that. Or like being like, could you imagine if you're so well known for a certain role. This is another one I've been working on lately. It's like, could you imagine if you're a telemarketer and you call Liam Neeson's house, like, Mr. Neeson, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you're looking for me to take a short survey, I can tell you this, I don't have the time. What I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you, you know. And that's when the caller realized they should have called Morgan Freeman's house. I'm just gonna let you laugh, man.
I know I'm not doing a good interview here, but I'm just enjoying it.
Oh, it's great. I'd rather that. Then I have to come up with less stuff.
All right, here's my thing, right? I will talk to myself we did this thing at the station here. Because everybody does a podcast. Your podcast is great, by the way, the podcast stuff. But we do one here, and I was saying one day, how I'll talk to myself. I'll do a radio show for myself on the way home. I will just talk to myself. So
yeah, that's where that's where I work on voices usually, is in the car when I'm driving. And that's the part of the problem is I don't drive myself as much anymore. I get rides a lot of the time. Like they'll send a car service, and I really hate driving. So it's if I'm at home and driving around going somewhere, that's when I'll do it. It used to be when I was going from college to college, I would just get bored and just start talking and working on different impressions. And then when I get to the college, I would try it out and stuff like that, and eventually work on it. So that is a time when I'm generally working on stuff, is in the car alone. And it used to be people would think you're crazy. Now they just think you have Bluetooth.
Yeah. But do you ever get, I will get totally lost in a thought, and sometimes I'll drive past my house just to finish, what I'm doing. So do you ever get lost in an argument between two voices when you're by yourself?
No, that's weird. No, but I have missed an exit and stuff like that because I was concentrating on something, the wrong thing. But that was more of, not arguing between myself, but just thinking about that as opposed to thinking about the map program.
Yeah, right. All right, now let me ask you this. Because you've done a lot of the Fox stuff, the ESPN stuff, now all the stand-up specials, which are just huge. Are you working on anything? What do you really, is this what you want to do? Is this where you want to be at? Are you loving this right now? The freedom to do all this stuff?
For me, I have two little kids. I have a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old, about to be 8 and 10 in the next couple of weeks. So they're starting soccer and competitive cheer, and not together, but my daughter's in competitive cheer, my son's in soccer. So that's more important to me, actually, is being home a lot and seeing that. So I've got stuff that I'm working on. There's some big people that are trying to, been putting together a single camera sitcom kind of idea with somebody based loosely on my life, I guess. And, just doing the ESPN stuff. I'll do that for another year in this fall. And then just, working on new stuff. That's the, new impressions is always something to do, and some non-impression stuff, and just non-impression character stuff, little by little, see what happens.
Yeah, when you have we referenced the Gruden video earlier. When you have people that want to be a part of the impression, are you surprised by this? How much people want to be, done by you?
It used to be more that I was surprised. Now that people, the last time I saw Charles Barkley, this sums it up. Charles comes up to me and goes, "You got to keep doing that." I'm like, "What?" "You got to keep doing that impression of me." I'm like, "Why is that?" Because every time you do it, for some reason, I make more money. I get a new commercial or something like that. So, it's it puts people, when I started doing Gruden, I don't think Gruden knew how to take it, and then he started liking it a little bit, but then I started doing his best friend, Ron Jaworski, and now they go back and forth making fun of each other based on my impression of them. So it's kind of like being in the club, so they get it a little bit more.
Is it tougher doing a big guy like Barkley or like Gruden? That guy, that's a guy I wouldn't tangle with at a bar. Is it tough to do those impressions? Thinking, I don't know how this is going to go?
Yeah, when I first met Gruden, I was like, he's like, where you from, man? I'm like, Sandusky, Ohio, which is where he's from. He's like, really? I'm like, no. He's like, man, good, because you were blowing my mind, man. Once you do the impression for them, they get on your side more, because they realize it's not, I always tell them, I don't do it to be mean. I do it to make money. So, once again, honest comedian, Frank Kelly.
Honest Frank Caliendo. I love it. I don't know if that's real Frank Caliendo or Frank Caliendo's latest character. I'm not sure.
I'm right here.
What is the most requested impression by your children?
Morgan Freeman, because they know who he is. Most of the others, I don't think maybe John Gruden for my son. I actually made John Gruden when we did the quarterback camp thing together. I made him record something for my son, watching my son throw a football, and he was nice enough to do it, which was pretty cool. But those, that are from Phineas and Ferb, Dr. Doofenshmirtz. That is very interesting.
That's what I would guess. More cartoon characters. Phineas and Ferb, I could see that. But but they love the Morgan Freeman. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yes, because he's in the Lego movie, and you are the special.
You got to do, Frank, I never ask for this, but you got to do, I love the Morgan Freeman. I'm going to ask for two. Morgan Freeman, Robert Downey Jr., can you say you're listening to The Morning Show with Anthony in both those voices?
You're listening to The Morning Show with Anthony. I wouldn't lie to you. I don't know if I could do Robert Downey Jr.
Don't. You know what? Don't. Let's leave it there. That was amazing.
Let's leave it at greatness and not average.
This was awesome, dude. Looking forward to God, all right, you know what? I was going to let you go, but I got one last question for you. You got so much material. Here's the thing that's great about you, too. It's not just the incredible impression. What you do, the material that you do in the voices is great. That's hard writing to do. That's amazing. So I want to say that to you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I try to, that's something I've always tried to do. I always hated the vaudevillian type impressions. Like, what if Jack Nicholson was shining your shoes? Well, why would he do that? Give me a reason.
Right, yeah, you're doing good material in it. But now, all right, because you had all this, you've been doing this for a while, and you had a lot of specials and stuff. So when you go do a show like you're going to do at the Paramount for us here in Huntington, how do you is this all like a new hour? Is this just like you just?
It's a mix because people want to see certain things. So there's certain bits that I have to set things up, and some of those are the older setups, and then I go on different tangents with the stuff because not everybody's seen everything. So a lot of things I do build on. If I don't set up "That's Terrible" from Charles Barkley, for certain people they wouldn't get it. Like half the audience is going to know what it is already, and why Charles Barkley doesn't say terrible, he says terrible. So then building off of that and going in different directions than you might have seen in a special, there might be a little bit of crossover, but there I would say right about now there's about 40 to 50% crossover in some of the special stuff you've seen, and then there's at least 15-20 minutes of totally new stuff, and then there's some other like changes and stuff like that too. So it's by the time I get to that show, there's going to be even more new stuff because that's what I've been working on.
That's awesome. And I've seen you do things like where I've seen you just kind of create right off the fly. I've seen you just kind of go in a direction. If the crowd's taking you there, you go.
Yeah, absolutely. I won't do that at any of those shows.
Well, I want to thank you.
The Anti-Interview by Frank Caliendo.
Dude, this is the best interview I had all month. So I want to thank you for that. This is awesome. Thank you for coming on with us.
Well, great. Thanks for having me, man.
All right, there he goes, Frank Caliendo.